totally exhausted. And then then went from there down to, and got on the cruise ship and cruised for the second week, which is the way to do it because you're so tired from running around on the ground tour that then you can rest on the ship and
Yeah.
stop occasionally at a different port.
Yeah.
But very restful, as opposed to Bonnie and Mel did it reverse, and
Oh.
so here they are cruising on the ship, and then they have to, then they get their exhausted running around.
Yeah.
Anyhow, yeah, so retired in '94, went to Alaska, came back from Alaska, went to Florida, again camping, stayed with Paul and Alice in their campground for a while. And then, yeah, and then that's when we got the idea or I got the idea to build the Maple Rapids house, and thinking that it would be pretty much a shop and we'd continue to live in the trailer. What a dumb idea that was.
And then you added on to it even after.
Yeah, we built the house, and I've told this story a number of times too. Everybody that worked on the house did excellent work. Building a house is not always easy.
Oh, I can't imagine.
Getting things to happen when they're supposed to happen and so on doesn't fall into place really easily. But everybody that worked on the house was complimentary of the work that had preceded them. The guy that laid up the basement, that was Uncle Mel.
Oh.
He thought that the guy that dug the hole had done a good job. Everybody, the guys that roughed it in said that Mel had done a good job. The guys that did this said that the previous guy had done a good job. And it was all ex-students, family, or friends. And then when Murdy got in poor health and was not going to be able to stay in nursing homes much longer, we could see the handwriting on the wall and thought that we needed to make some accommodations for her to come live with us. In which case we then built what we call the addition to the house, built a new bedroom and bathroom, and we would then stay in there, and Murdy could stay in what was previously the master bedroom. Well, it didn't work out that way, and that's not a bad thing either, because that would have been tough for everybody.
Yeah.
So we then had the addition built on, and that's the only ugly part of building the house story that I hired a ex-student to do that job.
Mm-hmm.
He did good work, but he didn't pay his bills, and I got letters about they're gonna have a lien on my house.
Oh no.
And I talked to him. I was in Florida at the time, called him, and he lied to me.
Oh.
And so, but eventually we got that straightened around. I'm sure it wasn't much to his liking, but He had left out so many things, like a drainage system,
Oh no.
and had not paid his suppliers in spite of us having
Paid him.
paid him 2/3 of what.
Do you have a most cherished family tradition?
Most cherished
Family tradition. Even if the tradition isn't still going, if you had one earlier on.
You mean my family now, or my family while growing up, or what?
Or both. Like as a kid and as your family now.
I don't think so. With regard to family, your grandmother has a much stronger feeling about family than I have. I don't need to have a stronger feeling than I do because she takes care of all that. If there's a family event planned, I think your grandmother expects you to be there.
Yeah.
I, on the other hand, recognize that all of my kids, particularly those with second marriages or multiple other family kids and so on,
Yeah.
they have other things to do. They have jobs. And so I'm a little more lenient about your attendance at family events, but she is less forgiving.
I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah, you better.
She never lets us know. You just have to hear about it. Let's see.
But family, even though her ideas about family are maybe more inclusive and stronger than mine, family is also important to me.
So if there was anything that you would have done differently in your life, what do you think it would have been? Or is there anything that you feel you would have done differently? Nope. Good.
I mean, I could make you a long, long list, but I mean, you can't go back and change any.
Yeah.
I feel fortunate that I wound up as an educator. Things that you would do differently. Yeah, last May 22nd, I ran into this car. and I certainly wouldn't do that again.
What do you know now that you wish you would have known when you were a kid?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't tell you about my first job.
What was your first job?
My buddies that grew up on the street.
Yeah.
I think it was when we were freshmen in high school. Yeah, it must have been. When we were freshmen in high school, we would stop on the way home at the grocery store at the end of the block. Seidel's grocery store. And a couple of us would try to cause a reason for confusion, or at least to draw attention, while the other guy filled up his pockets with candy.
Oh.
And that we would share on the way home. Well, unfortunately, this one time we didn't attract enough attention away from the candy stealer because the secretary from the high school saw us.
Oh man.
I got called into the office the next day,
How old were you at this point?
freshman high
Freshman in
school.
high school.
Got called in the office the next day, and the principal told me that I had to go home and tell my parents,
Oh no.
which is terrible. You know, give me detentions or beat me up or something, but don't make me go home and tell my parents that I've been stealing candy.
Right.
And then he called my sister in to tell her that I had something to tell my parents that night.
Oh no.
So that night at dinner, I confessed. And of course, my mother, there again, my mother was the activated one. So she
Yeah.
took me the next day back to the grocery store. And we got together in Mr. Seidel's office, and he asked me the value of how much candy I thought I had stolen. I probably lied. But I told him some number. And so he then suggested that after school, I come to the store and work,
Work it off.
yeah, until I had paid the amount that I thought I had stolen. Well, I'm not arguing with that, you
Yeah.
know. So that's what I did. And
Sounds like a
I
good
don't
deal.
remember whether I worked a week or what it was, but whatever that period was, he then called me in the office, and I thought we were going to square up and so on and so forth. Well, he paid me for the work,
Aw.
and he asked me to continue to work, you
Aw.
know, as a job. So my first job was I'd stop at the end of the school day and work until whenever the store closed at night, probably 7 o'clock or so. And
That's cool.
yeah,
Sounds like a cool guy.
yeah, yeah. But now I don't remember what you asked me.
Well, and I'd asked what you what you know now, what you would wish you'd known as a kid.
I don't know. I mean, let's not continue to avoid the elephant in the room, which is that I don't know if I'm gonna. No, but you don't know
I don't know what.
how long you're gonna be around.
Oh no, nobody does.
No,
I could have died in December.
But I guess I have reasons to think that maybe my time is limited,
Mhm.
and therefore I am more inclined to look back on all of my experiences than you are, and I'm happy.
Good.
Yeah, no regrets.
Good. If you had the power to solve one and only one problem in the world, what would it be?
Oh,